Hello and welcome back to Xenoblade Chronicles X, where we are done actually playing the game, and I'm just reading the Collectopedia at you guys, and girls, and whomever else is listening. Just for fun, because some of the descriptions are interesting. So we've got Noctilum, Oblivious, Ilvlum, and Cauldros left, so let's get right to it. Caceres Mushroom. This fungus from Noctilum releases spores that send nearby creatures into a daze. Its subspecies imparts a bliss-like state on all who consume it. Well, that's something that definitely doesn't need to be regulated. Zandimo Eggplant. A sweet, tough eggplant that grows from trees and absorbs their sap. It also draws out pathogens from within the tree, thus increasing the life of its parent. How kind. Flowering Morrow Fern. A plant with seemingly self-aware mouthed tendrils that extend outwards to hunt nearby insects. Rich in protein, they are in turn a source of nourishment for others. Fornalo Greens. Flora that grows by absorbing plasma from the surrounding atmosphere. Its deep taste and numbing effects are coveted by chefs and foodies everywhere. Cybercaceres mushroom. A subspecies of the caceres mushroom, which only appears once every 100 years. Those who taste it are said to live out their days in a pure, bliss-like state. So, how do we know it only appears once every 100 years? Because A, I've gotten at least 2, and B, we haven't been on this planet for 100 years yet, so I think we might have already disproved that, unless they mean that it becomes common once every 100 years, which, you know, it might. We might have just gotten lucky. But again, how would we know? Have the Nopon been here long enough to be able to say that? Don't know. Sosha Guava. A palm-sized fruit that grows wild in the woods of Noctilum. Continued exposure to the sun's rays will dissolve the skin and reveal the flesh within. Prapaya. Upon ripening, this fruit will dislodge itself from the tree and fall to the ground, causing serious injury to any unfortunate enough to be in its way. In the way. Babaco leaf. An unusually broad-leaved and sturdy plant that aggressively propagates itself, shoving aside other plants and even rocks as it grows. Amana durian. A luminescent fruit that grows within the giant flowers of Noctilum. Adorned with long, sharp thorns, those that fall prey to its glow usually meet a painful end. Lava mango. A fruit with rubber-like elasticity. Its skin has been used in the clothing industry, while its sweet, chewy texture yields a sensation similar to that of gum. So where'd it get its name? Is it just because it's orange? Sour plum. A sour plum that... Really, the sour plum is a sour plum? Great. A sour plum that only grows in dark caves. Its taste can reduce even the hardiest of creatures to their knees and sends most fleeing in terror. Banana leaf. A dull-looking banana-flavored leaf. Although loved by all for its flavor, its habit of camouflaging itself as just another leaf makes it a rather rare find. Wait, how... Oh, we've only got 4. God melon. A rare, light-emitting melon, worshipped since the dawn of time as a sacred fruit, a single bite of its flesh is said to inspire enlightenment, or at least a smile. Sleeping amaryllis. With petals that take on the color of their surroundings, these flowers can be inordinately difficult to locate. And yet I've got 14 of them on me right now. False cedar. A large grass that at first glance looks like a tree. Contrary to appearances, however, it is extremely flexible and surprisingly easy to cut. Seca Cosmos. A large cosmos plant whose petals move in response to stimulus. This has led many to believe that it may possess a certain degree of sentience. Munaria flower. No amount of plucking will stop this flower's petals from sprouting right back. It is said that eating it bestows similar effects, making it popular with the elderly. Chameleon creeping plant. An insectivorous plant that lures prey into its jaws with a sweet aroma. These fallen insects become flecks on the plant's body, eventually mottling each petal. Mottling each petal. Need to not trip over my tongue. Lee lily. A plant with a tough, silver-colored flower that chimes like a bell upon catching the wind. Its clear tones offer visitors to Noctilum a brief moment of serenity. Timid sunflower. A short flower which, despite its name, avoids the sunlight at all costs. Forcing light upon it, however, will cause it to grow quite tall. Okay. Rock armadillo. A creature that curls into a ball when attacked, using its rock-like appearance as camouflage. Burdened by its own weight as it grows, its final days are reduced to only the tiniest movements. Morphling flounder. A flat fish with a movable eye that allows it to resemble both a left-eyed and right-eyed flounder. Okay, but they say it's a movable eye, so is it cyclopean or does it just have one eye that looks like two? Gluttonutan. This primate's belly pouch is used to hoard the many treasures which litter the forest floor. Fiercely protective, only the foolish would attempt to challenge it. Iguari. An iguana-like creature with a long, extendable tongue that it uses as a fishing rod. The very best hunters go on to become boss iguari, dividing their species. Mirrored peacock. A wild bird with mirrored wings. When hunted, they use these wings to reflect the sun's rays, dazzling their pursuers and granting a brief chance of escape. Continental jellyfish. A land-roaming jellyfish with a soft, translucent body. Moving using its many tentacles, it wraps itself around its prey before absorbing them into its body. Noctilucent dragonfly. A luminescent dragonfly from Noctilum. To attract females, the male radiates in a spectacular light show that signals the beginning of courtship. Strobing horsefly. A light-emitting horsefly. The more blood it drinks, the brighter and wilder it gets. Even a single glimpse of its strobe sends the Doragaroos of Oblivia fleeing. Tenacious moth. A moth that makes its own way in life. However, in amorous times, pairs can be seen rushing through their courtship dance as if their lives depended on it. Madam Mantis. A hairy insect with a falciform front limb. With a higher proportion of females to males, many an epic battle takes place as females seek to secure a mate. Well, why would that be? 'Cause what, do the males die after they mate? Because otherwise, they'd be able to mate with multiple females, so there's no reason for the females to have to fight for the mate. That's weird. Madness hornet. A hornet with a foot-long... A hornet with a foot-long stinger that sends victims into hysteria. Animals stung by this hornet can often be seen raging through the forests of Noctilum. And I've caught 70 of these things? That's terrifying. Seriously, a hornet big enough to have a foot-long stinger. I would not go anywhere near. Pardo spider. An inconspicuous 8-legged insect that is actually as heavy as iron. It uses silk from its 8 legs to traverse the treetops of Noctilum at speed. Kusakiri stag beetle. This creature attacks tractor beetles on sight. In all other cases, it uses its large pincers only for the peaceful cutting of grass blades. Absop's swallowtail, a butterfly that survives on light emitted from the sun and fellow Noctilum residents. In its final throes of life, it bursts into a spectacular light show. Eternal moss. This moss, which grows on the giant trees of Noctilum, falls and settles like snow. It is a great insulator and is often used by small animals as bedding in winter. Harnenga cotton. A cotton plant that grows in the shape of an arrow, a material of the finest quality. This cotton is very popular among the Nopon. Galgium crystal. An orb that displays future and past flora and fauna of Mira. Unfortunately, all that can usually be seen is a motionless plant or a grazing beast. Noka mirror stone. A stone polished into a mirror by the constant trickle of water from a giant tree. Staring into it gives the sense of looking into one's own soul. Cane soil. Dirt that contains significant amounts of sugar. It has a rather gritty aftertaste, but can be turned into a decent sweetener with enough processing. Glutanutan clay. Clay formed from a mixture of glutanutan droppings and Noctilum soil. Glutanutan. Because it's a portmanteau of glutton and orangutan, so glutanutan. It boasts unparalleled elasticity and will not snap no matter how far it is stretched. Well then. Katoan leaf. A leaf that emits faint bursts of radiation. Found in Noctilum, these leaves can be used to shed light on other items. Okay. Earth freezer. A capsule that stored a frozen genetic database of Earth plant and animal life. Much of this data was sadly lost in the crash of the White Whale. Nostalgia LOO2. A virtual reality helmet that allows the user to view scenes from Earth. Imperative for the morale of any crew on a lengthy space voyage. HI-9 ion thruster. An advanced electronic propulsion system that allows for precise navigational control at ultra-high speeds. Mark 9 hypercooler. A heat processing device that was finished just before launch. It recycles heat energy produced by the engine, which would otherwise have been wasted. Gesture glove. An electronic glove interface which allows linked devices to be controlled remotely by the user's hand movements. 3D printer. This machine can print solid materials such as basic parts and personal effects. One was assigned to each mechanic on the White Whale. So there were at least 8 mechanics. Shiny lamp. A Nopon lantern stuffed with luminescent Katoan leaves. Harvesting leaves for this lamp is a labor of love for the many Nopon who still revere its gentle glow. Lagooni's driftwood boat. A tub-shaped Nopon boat fashioned from buoyant driftwood, historically used by the Nopon to explore the ocean. Sea anemone platter. A shellfish plate used by ancient Nopon. Analysis of the residual material would surely give an idea of the ancient Nopon diet, but such investigations are low on the priority ladder at the moment. Loathsome blob. The Nopon put this stinky ball in their pocket to repel would-be predators with its rank odor. Delightful. Brain terminal. An alien device that interfaces directly with the brain, not usable by humans. I mean, it looks like you'd have to, stab it in or something. Hexagauge. A honeycomb-shaped body-scanning device used by insectoid aliens. So, the Orphe? Jode tank. An entirely sterile tank completely devoid of any organisms or bacteria. How very dull. Resonating Madonator. An electromagnetic device used by shapeshifting aliens. It interferes with the sensory perception of other individuals in the area. So is that how the Definians change? By using those? Because I have seen them all wearing them. Primitive Colossus statue. A pair of gigantic stone idols locked in combat. No one is sure who sculpted them or gave them their name, but their primal beauty often leaves a deep impression on those who stand before them. And these are meant to represent the Bionis and Mechonis from Xenoblade Chronicles. So, yeah. Spherical EM motor. The space enclosed within this transparent box supports a floating spherical object, the constant rotation of which produces a never-ending supply of kinetic energy, named rather plainly by the curator May. Oh, but... yeah, no curator is attributed to this because no one is sure who gave them their name. Scales of Justice. When objects are placed upon the scales, they tip not from the actual weight, but from some other form of mass. The mediator Justin declared this as measuring the weight of justice. And then he decided to kill a lot of people. Fraudulent Mirror. A compact radar that flashes with multiple points of interest, though nothing is ever found at the indicated spots. The mediator Laranara named the device while putting on his makeup. Gleaming Magnet. Named by the curator Django, this mysterious object contains a multitude of magnetic stones that orbit erratically within its cube-like frame. Alright. Now let's move to Oblivia, and it's looking like we'll probably only get through 2 categories in this episode. And then we'll do one more episode with 2 more categories after that. Gubera cabbage leaf. A vegetable that takes like cabbage? Takes? A vegetable that takes like cabbage. I imagine they meant tastes. It sports an odd blackish tint that only intensifies when boiled. Shinuyuni garlic. A root with a tapered horn shape that requires thick gloves for proper handling. Eating it grants superb recovery properties, but also horrific breath. Cossi bean, or cos bean. I don't know. A thick casing houses multiple fist-sized beans. Eating just one provides a day's worth of nourishment, making them ideal for long journeys. Big flea squash. A new gourd that arrived with an alien race. Despite its bland taste, its ability to grow in the most sterile of land makes it an invaluable foodstuff. Will pepper. A pepper that flashes red, yellow, blue, and then black in a continuous sequence. It's a feast for both the eyes and the stomach. Charupa leaves. A magnetically charged grass covered in iron dust. Its ability to remove excess iron from the body upon digestion makes it a widely used herbal remedy. Dobobora broccoli. A crown-shaped broccoli that is said to bestow the lordship of Mira to those who eat it. Tests indicate that consumption does indeed lead to feelings of grandeur. Spiked pomegranate. A fruit covered in sharp thorns and prized for its blood-clotting effects. The bleeding its harvest causes, however, means more than a few are devoured in the field. Kiweg. A kiwi with an egg-like shell. This hard casing acts as a protective shield, guarding the inner contents against various Miran insects. Royal grape. A fruit so large that only one grows per tree. Its juice can be mixed with alcohol to create a palatable wine-like drink. Suna watermelon. growing only in the stormiest of climes. At first, this fruit looks no different than a clump of sand. Once it ripens, however, it takes on the look of a watermelon. Jobo Primrose. By allowing its flowers to be eaten by Miran wildlife, this plant is able to propagate by dispersing its seed via their excrement. So basically, what most sweet fruits do anyway. Like, that's the reason fruits became sweet, was so that things would eat them. Gudo Rocambole. Similar to Earth's rocambole plant, but able to grow at an abnormal daily rate. This plant is quite short-lived and unable to proliferate as a result. Blast Chard. This plant contains a unique bitterness that is coveted among gourmands and chefs of New LA. Even coffee-type drinks can be derived from this wonder ingredient. Mia Oats. An unremarkable grass with emetic properties that cause those who ingest it to vomit. It can be used alternatively as either a medicine or poison. Muena Cactus. A cactus with thorns as soft as the tentacle of a jellyfish. It is said that if rotting Muena cacti come into contact with the rain, they turn into silvery cactaceous resin. Kefa Holly. A holly with a large purple fruit. These fruits explode upon impact, dispersing their stores of pollen. Certain creatures find the smell of this pollen intolerable. Doragaru. A small kangaroo-type creature able to leap many miles in a single jump. Wow. Its poor sense of direction often leads to it overshooting its intended target. Phantom Tanuki. A beast with space-distorting camouflage that allows it to morph into other forms. Hanging fatty deposits allow it to survive during lean periods. Denemozumi Mouse. The perfect species of mouse. When faced with adversity, they form into organized divisions and overpower their opponent with sheer numbers. Octosuka. A land-dwelling octopus-like creature with 8 enormously long legs. Its unusually low body weight makes it highly likely to fracture in stiff winds. Jet Turtle. A turtle-like creature that feeds mainly on the zizi rabbit. Able to fit its entire body within its shell, it uses rotation to zip along at astonishing speeds. So it feeds mainly on the zizi rabbit, but the zizi rabbit is found exclusively in Primordia, and these things are found exclusively in Oblivio. What's the deal there? Sand Cucumber. A sea cucumber-like creature that absorbs sand into its body for survival. With 90% of its body weight being sand, it is able to quickly fill in any wounds. Gormless Monkey. A small monkey with a featureless face. It relies on sound and movement to gain its bearings. Fleeting Baboon. An exceedingly hairy baboon-like creature with a lifespan of less than a week. Maturation and aging are both extremely rapid. Slasher Beetle. The most powerful beetle on the planet. It tears up foes with razor-sharp horns and spits iron-piercing pellets for long-range strikes. Truly the king of the insects. Whip Scorpion. A long, soft-bodied scorpion that uses its whip-like tail to repel attackers. Constant use of the tail for various other endeavors has resulted in evolutionary loss of the stinger's venom. Common stick insect. This insect, almost indistinguishable from branches, chooses not to hide itself in this way. Instead, it adopts a brownish hue on green branches and a green one on brown branches. So it's an idiot. Shadowfly. a fly that refracts ambient light, illuminating its surroundings for miles. Wow, really? Don't be fooled by its pretty appearance. This carnivorous insect is a real handful. Imposter bug. A stink bug that resembles a nopon from certain angles. The bug's cry is so intolerable to the nopon, however, that they will do anything to avoid it. Mole worm. A worm that draws its nutrients from moranium, boring ever deeper into the planet in search of this energy source. As such, it is rarely seen above ground. Full-belly gecko. A gecko-like reptile with a large appetite. The fatty globule revealed by peeling back its hard skin is highly prized for a high protein content and buttery taste. Ew. Wanus fossil. The fossilized remains of plants from Oblivia. It has similar properties to coal, and although it cannot be used as fuel, it is of use as research material. Zetus twig. A small branch that attracts lightning. It's likely to have been used as a lightning rod due to this unique quality. Exubera stalactite. A sharp-tipped stalactite fragment. It emits a beautiful ring of multicolored light, but careless touching may result in serious injury. Silvery cactaceous resin. A clay-like soft silver ore that becomes hard when forged. Its origin is uncertain, but it is believed to come from decomposed Muena cacti. Credocan air. A mysterious green vapor secreted inside caves. It turns into oxygen once ventilated, and for this reason is of great interest to the scientists of New LA. LOO2 degeneration reactor. This mysterious reactor was the white whale's primary generator, knowledge of which was strictly restricted to engineers directly involved in its operation. 5th Gen Recycler. This device harvests microbes and organic space materials, which are then recycled and converted into energy for the white whale. Multi-mirror solar drone. This photovoltaic system generates power from solar energy. It was originally attached to the hull of the white whale. Cruise deflector air, or AIR. This device projected an energy field around the white whale that acted as a protective shield against space junk. Spinocorrector. A spine-straightening device once very popular amongst the short-statured nopon. It fell out of favor when its effects proved to be far more damaging than helpful. Thorn box. A box for storing nopon pollen collection tools that are used to attract insects. The pollen is eaten and recycled by the insects before then being harvested. Perished stone spear. A spear invented by an ancient species once they took to walking upright. Their enlightenment came at a cost, however, as the same weapon eventually sealed their demise. Sandstone etching. A lithograph etched by an ancient desert civilization from Oblivia. As it is currently indecipherable, the fate met by this culture is still unknown. Magical finding rod. A nopon dowsing rod for locating mineral deposits and groundwater. A coin on one end wobbles when it hits its target. Hardly the most scientific of methods, but it seems to work for them. Ouroboros bracelet. A dried snake that is eating its own tail, used by the nopon as a bracelet. Drum of Valor. A drum made from the stomach of a beast. It is said to grant bravery to nopon embarking on a lonely trek. If one listens close, they can almost hear it beating like a courageous heart. Nopolith. A rectangular stone monument of perfect black. According to nopon folklore, it brings great wisdom to any who dare touch it. So this is probably meant to be a reference to 2001: A Space Odyssey, though the icon itself makes it look like it's meant to be a calculator. Which, Nopon being a mercantile race, I guess they would consider wisdom. Warbone. A knuckle guard made from the skull of a fallen opponent. Its battle-worn look is accentuated by numerous scratches and dents that tell an epic story. Horned helmet. A large privative helmet made from a resilient-looking shell. Its two protruding horns inspire terror in battle. Steel tail sheath. An alien tail protector emblazoned with a clan crest. The quality of workmanship indicates that it once belonged to an individual of some status. Sacrificial reactor. A furnace that faces the skies in prayer, probably used for religious rites and festivals. It contains what appears to be the remains of multiple sacrifices. Eradicator eyepiece. Goggles designed by giant aliens that transmit information and orders directly into the eye of the user. Ultra filter. A high-performance filtration machine that can create water from soil and sand. When the start button is pressed, a voice calls out, "Water making time, right?" and music begins playing. Strong iron. A rust-ravaged iron column with a tensile strength that defies reason. Despite being rusted to the core, it can easily withstand loads many times. Perhaps they mean loads more times, or many loads more times? Not loads many times, though. But it can easily withstand loads many times that of Oh, I should have finished the sentence, huh? It can easily withstand loads many times that of standard iron. Named by the curator Howard. Like, really, I should have read more than just those first 3 words. Also, yeah, I'm dumb sometimes. Chameleon sand. Sand that is able to change its color, and with that, its taste. Ranging from salty when white to sweet when red, the possible variations are endless, named by the prospector Sarona. Maiden's Guardian Star. A jewel that sparkles like the first star of the evening. The reclaimer Nastasha began wearing one as a charm to protect her companions, and the idea caught on with other blades, leading to its name. Echo Rock. An obnoxious rock that throws your words right back at you. Good luck confronting it, though, since it is dull and featureless. As, well, a stone. The curator Django named it with a smile. Illogical etchings. A lithograph that appears to hold encoded blueprints for a skull-like robotic machine. The engineer Tika named it in frustration after staying up all night failing to decipher its instructions. Angel Stone. A transparent stone that holds a fossilized angelic-looking creature. Transfixed by its heavenly beauty, the Harrier Adalbert gave it its name. Just, don't look away from it, please. That would be bad. Just make sure to stay transfixed and never look away. Don't even blink. Lost Memory Synthesizer. A machine to fuse crystals that conceal some sort of energy. The problem is, said crystals don't seem to exist. Upon realizing its uselessness, the Harrier Sarah Ariel named it in disappointment. And yeah, that's our time, so that's it for this episode. Join us next time when we finish the Collectopedia and thus also this series. See you then, friends.